All right, welcome to a Mile High Huddle video. My name is Luke. I'm here with Chad Jensen, and we are here to break down your Broncos game for tomorrow against the Indianapolis Colts. Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a good game. Going to be good to see the Broncos finally back in action, and good to be talking about them.
Absolutely. We've been waiting all year long since that horrible, horrible night in February to have the slate washed clean. Here we are. We're a little over 24 hours away, but we're knocking on its door.
And it's good to finally be able to rid our memories of that night.
That's right. We got to exercise the orange and blue demons.
The time is here. The time is here. So, first off, just breaking down the matchup. Obviously, Broncos, Colts, probably teams best known for their offense. You have Peyton Manning for the Broncos, Andrew Luck for the Colts. These are two high-powered offenses. Chad, for the Broncos, who is your breakout offensive player of the game?
I would say that, and I've been feeling this way. I've had a feeling about it since we signed him, but especially since he flashed in that game versus the Texans. So all of my fantasy football drafts, I found a way to get this guy. A couple of times I had to go ahead and maybe reach a round or two early just to solidify the pick and make sure I got him. But I got to go with Emmanuel Sanders. I think he's going to have not only a huge game, but a huge season. And I don't think people yet fully understand in Broncos country how important and how different he's going to be in this offense as opposed to how Eric Decker was. Sanders brings that short area quickness, that burst, that speed, that elusiveness, something that a level of athleticism and talent that Eric Decker could only dream of. And that's not saying Eric Decker's not a good receiver because he is. And I think he's very much underrated in that effect. But Emmanuel Sanders, I look for him in a practical sense, just watching football, to have his first ever actual 100-yard plus game. I thought that's odd that he's never had a 100-yard receiving game, but that's about to change. I expect him to get at least one touchdown and literally feast on the likes of Vontae Davis. Um, so my call on this one's got to be Emmanuel Sanders. How about you, Luke?
Sanders is the good one. That's the classic right there. I've kind of been wrestling with this one a bit just as to who it is. I tossed over the offensive line, who I think really struggled against the Seahawks back in the Super Bowl. But I'm actually not going to go with the offensive line as the breakout. I guess I'd be breakout players. I'm actually instead going to go with Monte Ball, which is interesting to define him as the breakout player considering he is the starter. But I would say because he's the starter, because he hasn't really had that extensive in-game experience as the starter, he was basically handed the starting job. He's expected to have the starting job. Obviously, he is going to be the starter. I think we're really going to see Monte Ball take that and literally run with it and really prove what he's capable of doing. Because I believe he is capable of being a top 10 back in this league.
Absolutely. My only concern with Monte, and it's minor, is I hope that appendectomy just, didn't throw him off kilter or, the game action he's missed. I mean, they got him a lot of action in that last game versus the Texans where the starters actually played. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what Ball can do in this offense, just like you as the man. Um, Playing with Peyton Manning, with the explosive offense, it'll be exciting to see for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And now with the news that Ronnie Hillman is kind of in the team's doghouse, C.J. Anderson, Juwan Thompson likely to see your number 2 snaps, all the more it comes back to Monte Ball. I mean, I seem to recall Juwan Thompson and C.J. Anderson having, I think, 3 career NFL carries between the two of them. So, Monte, it's on you, man. It's on you.
That's right.
So, other side of the ball, you have the defense. Obviously, they're going to be the ones that are going to be a little bit undermanned and hard put to stop these two high-powered offenses. Chad, your thoughts? Breakout defensive player of the game.
You know, kind of like Sanders, this might seem like the obvious choice, but I think T.J. Ward is going to wreck shop on Sunday Night Football. I
Wreck this
mean,
league.
that's right. And I mean, when he was with the Browns, he was obviously the best player on the field. In the orange and red or orange and brown, excuse me. Um, but with the Broncos, there's so many good to elite players on that defense. When you think of Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, and you have Pot Rose, Terrence Knighton, Sylvester Williams is on the brink. Um, but T.J. Ward is really going to pop off the screen when we watch him for a full 60 minutes on Sunday night, and really, he's going to display his presence and the way he impacts the game, both in the box in the run game, and also in passing. He's a very well-rounded safety in that regard, and is underrated, I think, as especially from the coverage point of view. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's harsh, but just ask Gronk. But I got to say, T.J. Ward, I'm looking forward to seeing him really break out and set the tone for the entire season.
hmm I agree. Having watched a lot of T.J. Ward against the run, he's incredible against the run. He's like no other against the run. And in the passing game, he's very underrated in my opinion. He's easily top 10 safety, no doubts in that.
Absolutely. And then when you consider, I mean, we got a little bit of a glimpse of it in the preseason, but I mean, Jack Del Rio is going to bring him on the blitz. He's going to get
Oh
some
yeah.
sacks. I mean, just what we saw in the very few reps and the very few series that he actually played. I mean, he was in the backfield a lot on passing downs, and it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, we could be looking at 5, 6 sacks on the season for this guy, just based
hmm
on what we saw in the preseason.
hmm One thing I actually really appreciated seeing from Jack Del Rio in the preseason was his propensity to mix things up. Bringing T.J. Ward on the blitz, we actually saw cornerback Louis Young blitzing multiple times, and he is a ferocious blitzer.
Absolutely, and I was a little bit sad to see him go, but
hmm
happy trails. Maybe we'll catch Louis Young another time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Um, Breakout player for me on the defense. Trying to think. If you'd asked me 3 months ago, I would have said Chris Harris Jr. I've been watching a lot of tape on the Broncos defense last year, recently, so I can't really still say Chris Harris, because I think he's already a top three nickel corner in the league. So I'm actually going to go with Bradley Roby. I think Roby's going to be asked to play a lot of snaps across from Aqib Talib, as they kind of ease Harris back in, maybe have him on the snap count. But Bradley Roby is already one of the best picks from this year's draft. Being picked at 31, he's looked outstanding. He's been outstanding, and I think Bradley Roby can absolutely explode out there on Sunday. I think Andrew Luck's going to go after him early and often, test him, see what he's capable of. But I wouldn't be surprised if he plays an excellent game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's no doubt, just like we saw with poor Kayvon Webster last year, the veteran QBs target the rookie early and often and see, what they're made of and
Mm-hmm.
see what type of metal they've got. But I think Roby, he showed some people in that Houston game why he was considered until he had those off some of those off the field problems and a little bit of a lackluster last year with the Buckeyes. We saw why a lot of people considered him to be a top 10 talent going into last season's NCAA football.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think he's going to be a very exciting player to watch, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, score predictions for the game?
I got to say, for me, I've considered this, and I'm thinking it's going to be 38-24. Some people, Broncos. Some people might say, you you're either not giving the Broncos defense enough credit, or you're not giving the Colts offense enough credit. But really, I think that the 24 points. If you can hold Andrew Luck to 24 points, I think easily the Broncos will get the win. And I'm thinking the offense is going to get 38. So my final call on that: Broncos 38, Colts 24. Luke?
Oh, so we're gonna see Brandon McManus kick a field goal for the Broncos tomorrow. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir, indeed. Hopefully inside 50 yards.
Hopefully we just see him make one.
That's right.
My score prediction actually looks eerily similar to yours. I've got the Broncos 35-24. Again, I think if you can limit Andrew Luck and that offense to just 3 touchdowns, that's a major win. I think if the Broncos can put up 5 touchdowns, that's going to pretty much do it for them all season. If they can break the 30-point barrier, considering the improvements they've made to that defense, 30 points I think should be able to get the job done week in and week out.
Yep, and especially with that Colts offensive line, I've been using the word a dearth of talent. They're hurting right now. Andrew Luck this year is really going to be running for his life. I mean, fortunately for the Colts, he's a mobile quarterback. And he's a big, tough, strong guy who can take a few hits. But if I'm a fan of the Colts right now, I'm a little bit worried about that offensive line and protecting my quarterback because we saw what happens in Indy when the starter goes down.
Yeah, definitely.
But it'll be fun to see DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller get after it together in tandem. We thought we had something special with Miller and Doomerville, but we ain't seen nothing yet, like they say. So I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, if I'm Jack Del Rio, my game plan is basically just tell the front four, get after him. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Del Rio dropped a spy in, maybe Brandon Marshall, maybe Lamine Barrow, just spying Andrew Luck, because if he can get him rattled early, he's going to try and tuck it and run too many times.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more.
Should be a great game. Hey, it's football. I'll take it at this point. I'll take anything.
That's right, man. It's football. It's Broncos football. It's Mile High Huddle. We're going to be bringing you the top-notch Denver Broncos content from now until the end of time. So this is our first inaugural video, Google Hangout for Mile High Huddle. We're going to be doing a lot more of this with a lot more production behind it. Luke and I wanted to get together and talk this out, get a video posted, and so people could start getting to know us. Please make sure that you hit us in the message boards. We want to get to know everybody. I made a thread yesterday introducing myself and the guys on our team. Again, my name is Chad Jensen, and you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is CJ_Broncos. And this man, his name is Luke Polglaze, and he's my right-hand man. He's the editor-in-chief of Mile High Huddle, and you're going to be seeing a lot of this guy and reading a lot of this guy. Follow him on Twitter at MHS Radio. Luke.
Yes, sir. Football is here. Mile High Huddle is here. Going to be bringing you the best content we can. At MHS Radio is where you can get a hold of me on Twitter, and you'll be able to get a hold of me there all season long. Awesome. Thank you for watching. See you around the message boards.